What if I told you Bitcoin's next crash might actually be its greatest revolution? Every time the world screams Bitcoin is dead, something extraordinary happens. The weak hands vanish, the technology evolves, and quietly, the financial system takes one more step toward being rewritten forever. This isn't just another crypto story. It's a story about power, psychology, and a silent war over who controls the future of money. In the next 30 minutes, you'll understand why every Bitcoin crash hides a coded message, one that reveals exactly where the world's money is heading. We'll break down the hidden mechanics behind BTC's price swings, how institutional players manipulate the chaos, and why the smartest investors actually wait for the pain. By the end, you won't just understand Bitcoin. You'll see the entire global economy through its lens. Let's rewind. It's 2009. The world's banks have just collapsed. Governments are printing trillions. And in the ashes, a mysterious white paper appears. Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. An idea so radical it sounded like science fiction. A digital currency with no central authority, no borders, and no permission needed. In the early days, it was dismissed, then ridiculed, then fought. And every single crash, from 2011 to 2013 to 2018 to 2022, looked like the end. Yet every time it came back stronger. Because Bitcoin isn't just code, it's conviction. But let's be real. Crypto is chaos. For every headline about Bitcoin breaking records, there's another about it collapsing overnight. People lose fortunes, exchanges implode, scandals erupt. And every time the dust settles, the same question resurfaces. Is Bitcoin dead? That's the paradox. Bitcoin thrives on doubt. Every crash is a cleansing fire that removes speculation and forces evolution. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Much of that volatility is engineered. Yes, whales, hedge funds, even governments, they all play the same psychological game. They exploit fear, greed, and human impatience. When the average person panics, they accumulate. When the crowd finally feels safe again, they exit quietly, leaving euphoria behind. The crypto market isn't random. It's a mirror of our collective emotions. Let's dig deeper into why Bitcoin behaves the way it does. Every 4 years, something called the halving happens. The amount of Bitcoin mined is cut in half. It's the heartbeat of the network. Supply shrinks, demand builds, and historically the price eventually surges. But it's not magic. It's economics and psychology intertwined. In the years following each halving, new waves of investors arrive. Retail traders, then institutions, then governments. Each layer adds legitimacy, but also volatility. And here's where it gets fascinating. Bitcoin's volatility is actually what keeps it alive. Without chaos, there's no opportunity. Without fear, there's no accumulation. The cycles aren't bugs. They're features of a decentralized experiment in human behavior. But in 2025, something different is brewing. This time, the macroeconomics have changed. Central banks are cornered by debt. Currencies are losing trust. And Bitcoin, once mocked as digital tulips, is being quietly accumulated by institutions that used to despise it. Consider El Salvador, the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender. At first, the media laughed. Today, they're debt-free, their GDP is rising, and tourism has exploded. Now look at BlackRock, Fidelity, and other giants. They're building Bitcoin ETFs, not to speculate, but to own the infrastructure. Even in nations like the US and China, despite bans and regulation, blockchain adoption continues under the surface. Digital assets are being normalized. Meanwhile, in the developing world, Bitcoin has become more than an investment. It's a lifeline, a way to store value when your local currency melts away. Think of the Nigerian youth who save in BTC, or the Venezuelan family who uses it to escape hyperinflation. For them, Bitcoin isn't volatile. Their currency is. Each story reveals a pattern. Bitcoin crashes in price, but not in purpose. So what can you do with this knowledge? First, understand the cycle. Don't chase green candles, prepare during red ones. Second, diversify your mindset. Bitcoin isn't about getting rich quick. It's about staying wealthy long-term in a system that devalues your money. Third, zoom out. The short-term chaos hides a long-term shift, from trust in institutions to trust in math. If Bitcoin crashes tomorrow, smart investors won't panic. They'll celebrate, because they know every collapse is just a reset before the next wave of adoption. Here's the brutal truth. Bitcoin doesn't need you to believe in it. It just keeps running, block by block, transaction by transaction, 24/7. While governments argue, Bitcoin simply exists, unstoppable, transparent, borderless. So when someone says Bitcoin is dead, just smile. Because history has a funny way of repeating itself, especially when people underestimate the revolution already happening. Remember, every crash is a test, and every believer who stays through it becomes part of the story.